like so many Americans, I feel extreme, sympathy and empathy for people in Minnesota, what they're going through with ICE and everything that surrounds that, and people who've lost their lives and all that. I can only imagine as, the family members and, relatives of or loved ones of people who have actually lost their lives in those ICE, events or whatnot. I didn't think. I mean, I knew that immigration was going to be a thing when Trump took office, but I didn't think it was going to be like this, right? So it it took a different step, right? It went extreme. I don't know what the motive is behind it. Of course, the motive is deportation, but it feels a lot like it's deeper than just that right now because I think there's something about the Minnesota ones because we've seen the other ones in different cities, but the Minnesota one really took a different turn. I don't know if it's about the whole fraud thing that happened there, and also the governor there running for, was being trying to be the vice president, whatever. No, the whole thing. But here's my thing. Why I'm talking about this. So far as I know, in 2026, I believe there's been two people killed that I know of, like two people publicly, at least, right? And it's two white people. Here's my problem. And I want to talk to the people who, I think the people who are fighting this fight are doing a good fight. They are doing it for good reasons. But here's the thing that I've, I've been questioning myself about, right? So generally, when Trump was coming into office, he was focused on, oh, the Mexicans and the people from Latin America, whatever, call them criminals, whatever, rapists, all that good stuff, right? Cool, right? And you could tell that was his target. And to an extent, you can say black people were his target too, if that's what you want to say, right? Let's put that in the blanket. But so far, two white people have been killed to this whole thing. And when I look at the crowds and everything around it, I see mostly white people packed on the streets. They are protesting, they are doing all this. And the irony to me is that these group of people or the white people are not even the bigger targets. Unless I'm missing something and somebody has to show it to me, but I don't think they're the biggest targets when it comes to ICE, right? But they are the one protesting the most. Here's what pisses me off a little bit. When that lady was shot, I think her name was Renee Goodman, I believe. Renee Good, I think. When she was shot and killed, here's the problem that I have with like black people and Latinos and whatnot, and black people maybe especially if I speak to them. I didn't see any protest when that woman got shot because I doubt she was a target of ICE. I doubt ICE was coming after her, right? Because it almost seems like the white people automatically get that, citizenship pass, like they're thinking. And I'm not trying to raise bait here. You got to bear with me. I'm not trying to raise bait here. I'm just trying to speak to common sense, right? But she protested against, civil disorder or civil rights, whatever you want to call it, right? She did all that. And whatever she was protesting for affects blacks and other minorities more than it even affected people her race. But when she got shot, I didn't see any protests. Now, here's my problem with that. If that was a black person who got shot from that car, there would have been a massive protest. And I'm watching what's happening in Minnesota. I see a lot of white people protesting, which is for a good cause. And they're doing this, it doesn't really affect them that much. They're doing it for humanity, if you will, right? Let's go there. They're doing it for humanity. But the people that are affected the most are just sitting back. They're not really doing anything about it. Not really protesting as much because one thing I know for sure, if that lady, when she got shot, was a black person, the protest would have been louder. So my point, what I'm trying to say is this. All these white folks protesting hardest. I know you guys care about human life. You guys care about civil rights and all that. But I'm sorry, I gotta say, you're fighting a battle. You're fighting harder for a battle that doesn't affect you the most. And the people that it affects the most don't even care about you like that. I'm sorry. It sounds harsh, but they really don't. Because in fact, there are some people who are actually sitting back and be like, okay, well, now they know how it feels. Right? Like I say, some people, some black people actually sit around and say that. Like I've heard them say that because now they're just sitting back, letting you do the fight. When it's a fight that really affects just, it affects them. It doesn't affect you that much. And I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong. Like, look at the guy who got shot today, too. I think, was it today or a couple of days ago? At least I saw it today. He's a citizen, great job as a son. I think say he was a nurse or something. And really, if it was just about him, and I know people are gonna sit here and say, well, life is not just about you, but yeah. But the people that it affects the most don't even want to budge. They don't even care about you like that. I'm not saying don't fight for a good fight. Do what you can, but let the people that it affects the most, which is the blacks, the Latinos, the Asians. I don't see Asians being harassed that much. I don't see, to an extent, I don't even see blacks being harassed that much. I'm sure they are, but I don't see it that much. I think the Latinos are getting the bigger beatings. Yeah, some black people are as well, but I think the Latinos, because that was the target in the first place. And I'm sure it is extended, but these white people, you guys are putting up a fight on something that the people who you're supposedly trying to defend and fight for don't even care about you that much. I'm sorry. And I'm not saying this because I'm taking lightly the fact that two people that at least publicly have lost their lives. No, I feel complete empathy and sympathy for the families that have to go through that. But the thing is, what's the point with you fighting a fight when the people that it affects the most are not even fighting the fight with you? All they do is pull out their phones and record situations and share it. That is not the fight because you are standing in the front line. You're getting the bullets, you're getting the shove, and whatever else that the ICE agents are doing. If the people who it affects the most are not even trying to jump in the fight, what's the point? Just, I'm not saying, again, I have to preface this. This is not how I saw ICE going about things. And I'm not condoning how they go about this based on what I see anyway. But at the end of the day, you can't fight a fight where the people who are supposedly supposed to be affected the most are not even participating. Because I look at it, I watch the videos, I just see a bunch of white people in the front lines fighting over something that does not even affect them the most. Because I guarantee you, if a black person got taken out, you would see a riot from black people. You would see all the BLM crap that comes with it. But now there's a white person, they just sit back and say, oh, well, they just share the videos. That's all they do. They're just sharing the videos and let everybody watch it. But it'll have a different consequence or different level of noise if that was a black person shot. Now we're two white people down. Where are the black people? Where are the black people protesting? I don't see them. I don't see them. But these are supposedly supposed to be about the blacks and the Latinos and whatnot. And I'm also calling out, where are the Latinos too? Where are the other races or other ethnicities? I don't see them. You only see the white people in the front line. So I guess the white people care about their own civil rights or care about civil rights more than the quote unquote black people who were supposed to be the drivers of civil rights. I just think it's a shame. Personally, I think the fight, for people who care so much about it, the fight should be 50-50. Like, I need to look in that crowd and see a bunch of other races or ethnicities in there. Because if not, as a white person, I just pack my bag and go home. I'm sorry, it sounds harsh, but it's just what it is. Because I cannot be fighting a fight that affects you, but I'm more on the front lines than you are. And I'm losing my life because the guy who lost his life is a citizen. The lady who lost her life is a citizen. She or he didn't have to be out there. No, he could just sit at home and say, you know what, I'm a citizen, screw everything else. Or I'm a citizen, screw everything else over there. But they took upon themselves, probably care about humanity. And now they're not even getting any support or backing from the other ethnicities besides sharing the videos. Like, it's a shame. It's a shame. If I were them, I would just pack my bags and go home. And until you jump into that fight, you put as much equity as I am into that fight, I am not coming back out for you. I'm sorry. It sounds harsh and I feel bad. Again, my condolences to their families, but I would do the same thing. I would do that basically. I would pack my bags and go home until I see fair number of other ethnicities, especially the ones that are affected the most. And I'm talking about the Latinos and the blacks And I want to throw in the Asians there, but I don't see much happening with them. Like they're not. I don't see any harassment videos from them or about them. So looks like we can narrow that down to Latinos and blacks. And trust me, I'm not race baiting. I'm not race baiting here at all. I'm just saying based on, the conversations and what I've seen online. But I'm packing my bags and going if I'm a white person. I'm sorry. In Minnesota, I'm packing my bags and I'm going home till I start seeing a bunch of black people in the front lines, because if not, they're going to keep losing their lives. And the people who are supposed to be affected the most are not even fighting the fight. They're sitting at home and waiting. And like I said, trust me, I've had conversation with some people on the low. Some of them are sitting there saying, okay, well, we've suffered enough. Let them go through the same thing. Like they're literally sitting back, and maybe saying feeling good is a little harsh because it didn't say I feel good, but based on the responses and the reaction I'm getting is like, okay, yeah, go feel how we feel like when we're getting shot in the streets and whatnot. So no, I'm not doing it. If I were them, pack my bags and go home. And until everybody comes on the street, everybody joins the fight, I am not getting out there.